And we are live. Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. So, welcome to another edition of the Astro Room live here on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So, if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell. So, you always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves. So, in this edition of the Astro Room, I will be discussing the upcoming new moon going down in the sign of Leo. All right, I am so excited to be bringing this information to you because the new moon in Leo is one of my all-time favorite new moons of the year. Like the energy is like top tier. We can really manifest the things that we want and we can have fun while doing it. Like here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is August, it's summer. It's really that time where everyone's taking a break, people are going on vacation, and people are really relaxing, right? Because when it comes to manifestation, being relaxed is the best sort of state to be in to manifest some things, right? When you're tense, when you're anxious, when you're desperate, that's when things don't necessarily come out the way that you want them to. And so the energy for this particular new moon in Leo is phenomenal. And I'm so excited to be bringing this information to you. But of course, before I get into all of those juicy details, hi. Let's get into some housekeeping and announcements. So, if you're joining me here on the live this afternoon, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Please hit that like button on your way in. It lets the algorithm know that you like this kind of content so that it can deliver it to other people who may like this kind of content as well. And for those of you who are catching this on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Hopefully, you get exactly what you're looking for in this broadcast. And if that is the case, hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell if you haven't already. All right. So, normally I have all these other announcements that I usually do during the weekly astro forecast, but I just want to get into this information, sort of keep it short, sweet, and to the point. However, before I get into all that, I just want to express my gratitude and my thanks for all of you. For those who have subscribed, for those who have joined the channel membership, for those who have ordered my products, for those who have gotten a reading with me, whether it's tarot or whether it's astrology. Like, I'm just overwhelmed and my heart is so full from the support, the love that I receive from you guys. Like it is absolutely phenomenal and it blows my mind and it makes me feel so good. And I'm so thankful for it because you guys are absolutely amazing. I've had a busy week with clients this week and the readings that I have done, I have some amazing clients. And I'm not just saying that just to say it. Like the people that I consult with are literally amazing. I need you guys to get ready. Whether you guys have gotten a reading with me or not, I need you to get ready because the people that I've been reading for are about to do some really big things out here. And I'm not even lying to you. Like these people are about to change the world. And I'm so honored to have helped them understand their calling, help them understand their next steps. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, some of these people that I've been reading for in the near future, you are going to know them because their messages, their faces are going to be plastered all over the place. So I'm so excited for what is to come. And if you guys are trying to figure out what your next step is, if you are trying to figure out what your purpose is, I can definitely help you figure that out. So if you're looking to book a session with me for a reading, whether it's astrology or tarot, those links will be in the description box below and tagged to the video. I'm so excited for what is to come, and I'm so excited to be helping so many more of you step into your purpose. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let us talk about this upcoming new moon in Leo. I don't know, I'm really excited about this one because the energy, like I said, it's really top tier. This is the new moon where you can really manifest some things. And I don't use that lightly, right? Because new moons are all about planting new seeds and setting new intentions anyway, right? Like that's just plain vanilla what new moons are all about. However, this one in the sign of Leo, at the very time that it is happening, is going to be absolutely amazing for manifestation. So, this new moon in Leo is going down on Sunday, August 4th at 7:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's happening at 12 degrees of Leo. Okay. So, let's just get into all of the details, all of the juicy stuff, everything that you need to know in order to make the most of this auspicious time. But of course, we start off with the basics. All right. So in terms of the basics, let's talk about Leo energy and new moon energy. So new moon energy is all about planting new seeds and setting new intentions. It is the start of the manifestation cycle. It is the start of the lunar cycle. It's where everything begins again, and so can you. Every month we get a unique opportunity to plant new seeds, different seeds. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, if you've tapped into any of my lives, I'm very much a proponent of following nature, following the cycles of nature. So, although we are master manifestors, although we can manifest anything we want at any time, the lunar cycle sort of gives us a curriculum, if you will, with respect to what to be planting and when. There's an opportune time to plant seeds of partnership. There's an opportune time to plant seeds of career. There's an opportune time to plant seeds of family. And it all depends on where the moon is transiting at that particular time. So when we talk about this particular new moon in Leo, we are planting Leo things. Now, Leo things isn't necessarily relegated to specific things. Leo things are all about the things that are truly in our hearts. When we get real about who we are and what we want, that is when, or those are the type of seeds that we can plant at this new moon in Leo. So, what do you truly desire? What's in your heart? What are you passionate about? These are the seeds that we're planting at this particular new moon. Now, Leo energy is beautiful energy, right? I know a lot of people feel a certain way about Leo suns or Leo risings. You know, they're the kings and queens of the zodiac, all that stuff. But I'm not even talking about that. Well, I will in a second, but not in necessarily the way that you think. So, Leo energy is heart centered, it's warm, it's generous. Most importantly, it is childlike. Now, I feel like I've been talking about this ad nauseum because I've been talking about Leo energy for the last 2 weeks, the monthly astro forecast, all that stuff. So, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but this is definitely for people who have no idea or need a gentle reminder that Leo energy is about our inner child. You know how children are most, you know, how children are, for the most part, fearless. They are fun seeking. They are desirous without really caring about any external circumstances. Children want what they want when they want it, and they don't give a fuck about what is going on. And that is the energy that we should be embodying at this new moon in Leo, okay? So it's really about tapping into that inner child and figuring out, what do they want? Don't overthink things. Don't add, I'm not going to say don't add logic to these desires, right? You don't necessarily want to just go off the deep end. I mean, that goes without saying. However, I don't want you to psych yourself out with what you want. I don't want you to try to rationalize whether you can have it or not. You know, one of the things that we often do when manifesting is we set intentions that we think we can achieve. So our logical mind takes the wheel, and our logical mind is like, okay, I want this thing. It has to happen in this way. So that is what I'm going to focus on. When we are manifesting, it's like you got to take the brakes off of everything. It's not about what you think you can get. It's anything. You have the power to manifest anything. And that is sort of what this Leo energy reminds us, especially this Leo new moon. It's like, don't overthink things. Don't rationalize what you can have and what you can't have. What does your inner child want? Maybe you've been, I don't know, an engineer for 20 years and now you want to switch gears and be a painter. If that's what your heart really desires, go for it. Don't listen to what other people may say or be concerned with what other people think. Whatever is truly in your heart and whatever you truly desire is what we are tapping into at this new moon. Now, in terms of Leo energy, some of the other characteristics of the Leo energy signature is royalty and regality, right? Kings and queens stand apart from the peasantry, okay? And it's not to say that you need to put rank on people with this new moon, it's that you need to take your rightful place on the throne. And that throne is God in the flesh. You are a fractal of God. And that Leo energy sort of reminds you of that. Leo energy is very self important. Leo is like, yeah, I know I'm the main character. So you need to step into that main character energy at this new moon and for the duration of Leo season, if I'm being honest, right? So Leo is regal. Leo is also very confident. Leo is not only associated with the heart, so the heart chakra, hence an open heart, childlike energy, warm and generous. But Leo is ruled by the sun. And when we think about the sun, it immediately evokes the solar plexus chakra. And the solar plexus chakra is where your willpower sits. It's where you shine authentically. It's that confidence that you exude. So, Leo energy, it's warm, it's generous, it's heart centered, it's confident, it's regal, and it is related to your inner child. So these are the energies that we have at our disposal for this new moon in Leo. That's why I love this new moon pretty much above all other new moons for the year. It's like you don't have to be real serious, right? When we have a new moon in a sign like Virgo or Capricorn, we get a little more serious. It's a little less sexy, a little more less fun, right? But this Leo new moon, like, have fun with this. Be a child with this energy, okay? Like, that's exactly what the universe wants you to do right now. And you're also going to want to break out your natal chart and see exactly where Leo is in your natal chart. This will let you know what area of life this new moon is going down in, number one. And number two, sort of what you should be focusing on and manifesting. So let's say Leo is your second house, which means that you are a Cancer rising. Leo is your second house. The second house is money, material possessions, all that stuff. Let's say you want a new car, right? And nothing sensible. Maybe you want something like a BMW or you want a Mercedes or whatever it is. Plant those seeds. Let's say that Leo is your seventh house, which means that you're an Aquarius rising. Seventh house is relationships. If you want to get married, if you want to have the ideal partner, plant those seeds. Let's say that Leo is your 10th house, which would mean that I don't know what the first house would be off the top of my head, but let's say Leo is your 10th house of career and public life. Maybe you want to be an actor or actress. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel and have a huge following. Plant those seeds. Whatever it is, wherever Leo is in your chart, plant the seeds that really make your heart sing and that your inner child would love for you. All right. So now let's get into the numerology for this new moon. All right. I love looking at the numerology because it gives us a little more information on the energy that's at our disposal or what we can expect. So we look at the degree of this new moon. And like I said before, this new moon in Leo is going down at the 12th degree of Leo. So numerology, we always reduce double digits down to a single digit. So that would mean 1 plus 2. So this new moon in Leo is sponsored by the number 3. Now, I really love the number 3, right? It evokes like the Holy Trinity, for instance, a triangle. In astrology, 3, as represented by a triangle, is a trine, which means that it fosters very effortless, harmonious energy. So, 3 is about upbeat, it's engaging, it is youthful and positive. The number 3 is associated with the sign of Gemini. So think about Gemini energy. I always use the word mixy for Gemini energy. It's youthful, it's all over the place. It is just like running around, not giving a fuck. It's energized, it's upbeat. Think about that with respect to what I just said before about Leo being in touch with the inner child and having everything to do with the inner child. The fact that this new moon is happening at the 12th degree and that the numerology of this new moon is the number 3 means that there is so much youthful, fun, and energizing energy associated with this new moon. Now, I'm going to speak more on this in the manifestation section of this live. But when it comes to whatever new moon rituals you are doing for this new moon, it has to be fun. It has to be energized, right? If you are approaching your intentions, if you're approaching the goals that you want to achieve with a sense of dread, with a sense of anxiety, or you feel like it's a chore, my advice is don't do anything then. This has to be fun. This has to be upbeat because that's the energy that this new moon is providing to us. And it is within that energy that we can manifest literally whatever our hearts desire. Okay. The number three is also very curious. So, sort of like I was talking about before, right? That inner child. The inner child wants to do things and really doesn't care what else is going on or what anyone may think. If there's something you're really curious about, right? For instance, I think one of the examples I gave was, you're not necessarily a musician, but you've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar. You're curious about what it would be like to play the guitar. You envision yourself maybe playing in front of people or even starting a music career, right? It's like this curiosity has piqued your interest. This is the seed that you're going to want to plant at this new moon. Again, have fun with all of this. Now, in terms of the astrology associated with the number three, it is Gemini and Sagittarius. These two signs, Gemini and Sagittarius, have a lot to do with curiosity, with learning, and with expanding your mind. So plant seeds of things that you want to learn more about, things that'll broaden your horizons, and things that are maybe a little adventurous. This would be a great new moon, especially if you have Leo as your ninth house, to plan a trip, perhaps a trip to someplace you've never been, a trip that's far away. Or conversely, let's say you've got Leo as your third house. Again, if you've wanted to learn something specific like playing the guitar or learning how to plant orchids, whatever it is, you'll want to plant those seeds at this new moon. Okay. Now, this I love. The tarot card associated with the number three is the Empress. And I love that. The Empress is the queen of all queens. Hence, again, that Leo energy signature, that queen regal energy, that's the Empress. But most importantly, the Empress is associated with abundance and fertility. This is important, okay? And I'm going to go more into this in the astrology section, but so when this new moon is happening, and this is again happening on August 4th, this new moon coincides with the Lionsgate portal. And I just dropped a video all about the Lionsgate portal yesterday. So if you haven't checked it out, I'll leave the link in the description box below so you can watch it after you finish watching this video, right? But the Lionsgate portal is all about abundance. It's about fertility, long story short. And so we have the energy of abundance and fertility represented with the Lionsgate portal. We have the energy of the number three, which symbolizes fertility. We have a new moon, which symbolizes planting seeds. Do you get what I'm trying to say? This is a very fertile time for abundance and whatever abundance means to you. Abundance could mean wealth, like money wise. Abundance could mean literally fertility to conceive a child. Abundance could be an abundance of health, an abundance of friends, whatever it is, plant those seeds. This is a very fertile time. Now, keep in mind fertility. Women, you know what it's like. You can be fertile and not be intending to get pregnant and shit be happening, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. So you really want to be intentional. And I'm going to go more into this in a little bit about the seeds that you're planting. Because guess what? With such fertile energy at our disposal, if you're planting good seeds, those are going to bloom. If you're planting bad seeds, those are going to bloom too. So if you are in this energy of anxiety, fear, insecurity, right? Whatever it is, those seeds are going to take shape at this new moon. So be very intentional about what you're thinking, where you're putting your focus, where you're putting your emotions, and where you're putting your energy and effort. This is a very fertile time. Now, the last thing I'll say about the number three, or the numerology of this new moon, right, is that I like to look at the Sabian symbols. And Sabian symbols essentially just give an archetypal story for each degree of the zodiac. So let's look at let's discuss the Sabian symbol for 12 degrees of Leo. It is an old sea captain rocking on the porch of his cottage. And essentially, this shows the need for quiet reflection to look back at past experiences, especially those times that were threatening or exhausting in some way. Now, this speaks to two different things. Number one, when we're talking about tapping into our hearts with this Leo energy, we have to examine what's in our hearts, right? Maybe we want the relationship of all time, but we've experienced a lot of heartbreak. We have to examine that at this new moon. It's not enough to just think about what it is that you truly want. You also have to think a little bit about what's been standing in your way. So that's number one. Number two, the fact that this Sabian symbol says that we need quiet reflection to look back at the past talks about the fact that Mercury is also going to be retrograde at this time. Now, I'm going to go into that in the astrology section. However, suffice it to say, when we're talking about the numerology, everything about 12 degrees of Leo is like, not only do we need to look at what's in our hearts, but we need to look at the past and to see what worked, what didn't, reflect on some things, and develop some wisdom with respect to what we've experienced. So, everything about this new moon in Leo, it's everything to do with the current astrology, right? With new moon energy, with Mercury retrograde, with the 8-8 Lionsgate portal being open. Everything is working in tandem. Okay. So it's really important that we pay attention to all of these things. All right. And speaking of the astrology, let's get into that right now. All right. So when it comes to the astrology, first we'll talk about new moons. Now, I talked about this before, but in technical terms, the new moon is when the sun and the moon are conjunct. They're at the same exact point in the sky. And for this new moon in Leo, both the sun and the moon are going to be at 12 degrees of Leo. So when the sun and the moon are at the same degree, aka when they are conjunct, it's like we have this wholeness about us because the sun represents our outer world, our outer expression. The moon represents our inner world and our inner expression and our subconscious. Both of those are together. So it's almost like we are a whole being at the time of the new moon. Hence why it's such potent energy to begin something. We're balanced in a way. We're in touch with both our feminine and our masculine energy. And when you put those two together, that is when you birth things. Just like when a man and a woman have sex and the man impregnates the woman, you give birth to something new. So, sun and the moon together, balance of masculine and feminine energy. Now, in terms of the astrology with respect to the new moon, this new moon is going to be sextile to Mars. So there's going to be opportunities to start something new. Again, this idea of newness and the new moon just keeps getting repeated. So this is about something that you truly desire, right? Mars is a very fiery, goal driven kind of energy. So starting something new and the opportunities for starting something new are going to arise. Now, these opportunities that will arise will likely have to do with things that you truly desire. Again, let's say in the past you've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar. Guess what? Now on your Instagram feed, someone is giving guitar lessons, or there's an event in the neighborhood that's, someone's teaching guitar or whatever it is, right? These opportunities to start something new, perhaps something new now that you once thought about in the past, aka Mercury retrograde, may come up. So pay attention to what presents itself at this new moon. It likely may be in alignment with your desires. Okay. The moon is also going to be sextile to Jupiter, honey. And so this is all about expansion. Jupiter also signifies abundance. And with Lionsgate portal open, the number 3 in fertility, this is a new moon that is ripe with abundance. So you really need to do whatever you need to do to attune to the frequency of abundance at this time. That's number 1. Number 2, with Jupiter, it's all about expansion. So this may be about expanding beyond your comfort zone. Both Mars and Jupiter are in Gemini. So this is about expanding your mind. It's almost like this new moon in Leo, like I said before, it's about getting us to tap into our heart space, right? With Jupiter and Mars in a harmonious aspect to this new moon, it gives you the opportunity to have your head and your heart on the same page. Maybe your heart is like, listen, I want to do this. And normally your mind would be like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Or no, I don't think I can get that. Or no, at my age, I shouldn't be doing that, right? Whatever your mind says to psych you out of something, I feel like this is an opportunity where your mind could be like, well, maybe I can really do this. Hmm. Let me see how this could work. Remember, I said the number 3, which is sponsoring this whole new moon, is about curiosity. And Mars and Jupiter, which again are in harmonious aspects to this new moon, they're in the sign of curiosity. So your mind is not necessarily going to be really tethered to logic at this time. I feel like your mind is really going to be like, wow, maybe I can do this. Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. So follow your curiosity with this new moon. It can only benefit you. And then finally, with the astrology, like I mentioned before, we've got the 8-8 portal. I went into full detail about it in my video. So again, I'll drop that link in the description box below. And we've also got Mercury retrograde. So we're really going back into the past. We're really thinking about things, desires that we had. For some of you, it may really serve you well to think about things that you wanted as a child, to think about things that your inner child would like. Some of you need to jog your memories all the way back to childhood. There may be something that wants to be born at this time. There may be something that wants to be conceived, which was first thought of in your mind as a child. So take the limits off of your thinking during this new moon. Don't psych yourself out with logic and reason. Be curious. Allow your inner child to drive the car at this new moon. You definitely won't be sorry that you did. All right. That's why I love this new moon. It's so fun. Have fun with this. And speaking of fun, let's now get into the manifestation and what we should be doing at this new moon. All right. So, like I mentioned before, the new moon is the start of the manifestation cycle. So, this is when we plant the seeds. So, this is when you're going to be doing all the things, all the new moon rituals, whether it is burning bay leaves, whether it's scripting, whether it's, setting intentions and setting them on fire. Pro tip, because Leo is a fire sign, any sort of manifestation rituals having to do with fire will be absolutely amazing. So candle magic, writing your intentions and then burning them, burning bay leaves. Those are just some of the things that you can do. But I urge you to really think about what rituals work for you. Now, depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, you may really be doing research to figure out which rituals make sense or which rituals to even do. But I want you to be able to cultivate a sense within yourself on what works for you. For some people, candle magic is not their thing. For some people, scripting or writing or affirmations isn't their thing either. Figure out what works for you. After all, spirituality is all about your individual journey. And what works for someone else may not work for you. So figure that out within yourself and then do that. But whatever you do, you're going to want to have fun with this. Like, I mean, real fun. Like, childlike fun, playing, frolicking, skipping. Like, I'm talking about real childhood things. Have fun with this. Like I said before, August is a month when people typically go on vacation. Things definitely here in the United States and most definitely in Europe. Like in Europe, August, like you can't really get anything done because everyone is vacationing, right? It's a time of rest. When you are at rest, when you are at peace, when you are having fun, you raise your vibration. I remember I said before, this new moon is all about raising our vibration to abundance. It's very hard to raise your vibration when you're desperate, when you're fearful, when you're anxious, right? Shake all of that off by having fun. So whether you're having fun with your ritual or whether you're just having fun, period, do it. Okay? Do it because that is one way to help raise your vibration. The other thing that I wanted to say is that I think that is all I wanted to say was to have fun with this. Be childlike. Do things that you're happy about. Do things that make you smile, make other people smile. Like you just want to have fun with this. Now, the thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is that you're going to have to keep the momentum with whatever seeds that you plant. So I want you to do something that's not only fun, but that will put you in that high vibration when you think about the seeds that you're planting. So, in other words, You're planting the seeds, let's say, of a romantic partnership at this new moon. Anytime you think of romance, of partnership, of relationships, I want you to be able to tap back into that feeling of joy, that feeling of love. So, whatever you need to do to keep your vibration high, not only when you're planting these seeds, but when you think about these things going forward, you're going to want to do that. That's what's going to be important. Because remember, Leo energy is all heart centered. It's not going to do you any good to plant seeds now. You're in this fun period, you're feeling good, you've tapped into your heart space, only for when next month comes around and you think about the seeds you planted now, you're scared or you're anxious or whatever. Now, these are normal feelings. I don't want you to think that you need to have this sort of toxic positivity. However, you're going to want to keep that momentum going over the coming months, so that whenever you think about a relationship, you think about it in the best way possible. Whenever you think about relationships or whatever seeds that you're planting at this new moon, you feel it and it feels good. The other thing that I wanted to say, and use this as an example, you know how you're on vacation, right? And you are eating well, you're out in the sun, you're having fun, you're day drinking, whatever it is that makes you feel good on vacation. You notice how that's when you buy timeshares? That's when you buy things you normally wouldn't buy, because you're in this state of euphoria. You're in this state of joy. That's the state that you want to be in at this new moon. Okay. Like, this is top tier energy for manifesting what you want. So definitely take advantage of it. All right. So now let's get into the messages from Spirit for this new moon in Leo. All right, my loves. So Spirit has some interesting things to say for this new moon in Leo. And I'm not going to lie, when I received these messages, they kind of sounded like, I'm not going to say Spirit was shouting, but it was definitely this stern kind of voice. Okay. So take that as you will. Okay. So, first message: exercise your throat chakra. Something needs to be said, and you might be feeling anxious about it. Say it anyway. So, I think that's pretty self explanatory. The overarching energy of these messages is about speaking up. Now, Leo, although it's not a sign that's known to be vocal, think about the symbology of Leo energy. It's the lion. Lions roar. Now, they may not roar all the time. However, they do when necessary. And that's what you're being called to do at this time. So say it with your chest, but it needs to be said. All right. Next, be prepared for some hostility. Some may take issue with you speaking up or with how you shine. That sounds like a personal problem. That ain't got nothing to do with you. What needs to be said needs to be said, so say it. Leo energy is all about shining in our authenticity. So if you're shining too brightly for some people, tell them to put on sunglasses, because that's not your problem. Next, it is time to speak the truth. This could be in your everyday life or at work. So a lot of times, especially when it comes to work, we hesitate to speak up because we don't want to jeopardize our job. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to make for a hostile work environment. It is time to speak up. Mind how you speak up, right? Maybe this is not the time to be cursing out your boss or your coworkers. However, like I said before, what needs to be said needs to be said, and now may be the time to do it. Are you afraid of being seen? Have you been feeling isolated or like a lone wolf? Putting yourself out there helps you find your tribe and make new friends. Now, this is interesting because this is a message I've been getting for, I want to say, the last month or so. A lot of people are feeling lonely. A lot of people are feeling isolated, especially when we're on our spiritual journey. A lot of times we do have to walk it alone, and that can feel very lonely. However, there's something about finding your tribe at this time that is important. And the best way to do that is to speak up, right? It is to let people know who you are and what you do, what your interests are, even. Doing that will help solve this loneliness problem, okay? Holding in your hostility is affecting your health. Let it out, roar. Okay, so this goes back to everything I was saying before. Holding hostility keeps it in your body. And eventually it could affect your physical health. So again, whatever needs to be said, and it needs to be said now. This is a time when new relationships of all kinds can be formed. These relationships will be emotionally fulfilling, but you have to have the courage to be emotionally vulnerable. This is a tough one because many of us want relationships, but because of everything that we've been through, it's like we expect the other person to do all of the work. We have to meet people halfway, and we all have to be courageous enough to be emotionally vulnerable and to open up. So, this may be something you need to work on at this time. All right. So, do it. The time has come to really put yourself out there in an authentic way. Spirit has done its part. Now it is time to do yours. Use the Mercury retrograde period to plan and then pop out in mid-September. Okay? So, this kind of speaks to what I was saying before. Are you afraid to be seen? Yeah, some of us struggle with this, and many of us are being pushed to sort of step into the spotlight or step onto our soapbox at this time. But many of us feel less than prepared, and many of us are afraid. Use Mercury retrograde to work on those things. For instance, let's say you're someone who's afraid of public speaking. Meanwhile, Spirit is like, you need to be giving speeches and being on camera and all of that stuff. And you're like, how am I supposed to do that? Use Mercury retrograde to figure out where this fear comes from. Do what you need to do to help overcome that fear. One of the best uses of Mercury retrograde energy is not only intentionality, but preparation. It's like Mercury retrograde is like, all right, we're going to go back and dot all those I's and cross all those T's and be prepared. A lot of times our fear stems from a lack of preparation. So Mercury retrograde allows you to get prepared. And then once Mercury leaves its shadow period in September, especially around mid-September, that's when it's going to be time for you to pop out and make your appearance. All right? So get ready. It's okay and it's safe to expect people to show up for you. If you need help, now is the time to ask. All right. So, self explanatory. If you need help, now's the time to ask. Many of us, especially those who are givers, especially if we are really spiritual attuned, if we're empathic, we're always giving, but our humanity has us thinking a little less than it's like we see the humanity in others and we realize that a lot of times we can be there for people, but people cannot be there for us. This is the time where it is safe to not only put out the signal that you need help, but it is safe to rely on people to actually help you. For some, this may be an insecurity. This may be like a hang up that you have that this period in time is going to help you with. For some, there is an underlying hostility in a romantic relationship that's affecting your physical and or your mental health. You're either really anxious or secretly seething. Use Mercury retrograde period to figure out your next move or to discuss some difficult topics with your partner. Now, I think that's pretty self explanatory. There have been things that have been unsaid, things that haven't been mentioned, and that's breeding hostility within either you or your partner. Someone hasn't really spoken up, and it's time to speak up. And so, this period, this new moon Mercury retrograde period, is going to be great to figure out what you're going to do next or to finally have the courage to address this past issue that you haven't spoken up about and that you've been seething over. All right, take this energy and use it to your advantage in that way. Your inner child may be screaming for attention right now. Give it to them. Seriously. And then finally, love. That's the message. I love that. Spirit was really, really tapping into what is going on right now and what is available to us. All right. So this is literally one of the best new moons of the year. So I really, really want you to take advantage of it. All right. So I believe that's all I've got for you for this new moon in Leo. I sincerely hope that this broadcast gave you confirmation, gave you clarity, helped you understand what energy is at your disposal because I only want the best for you from now and beyond. And this new moon can really set you up for the life that you have always wanted. I'm not saying that to sound whatever. I'm saying it because it's the truth and the universe supports it. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you such a happy new moon in Leo, and I will see you in my next video. All right, take care.